out of Sacramento, California.
Woo! What you gonna do?
Better. Stronger.
Son of a bitch.
Faster.
Oh, yeah!
This is
Oh, I heard about this. So Jordan Peterson was talking about this. I want to put this in Meathead.
this is sort of like how the woke is operating in dietary environments, and so Michaela Peterson was brought up to this debate on meat, and she took the pro meat stance, talking about especially specifically how it helped her with her autoimmune diseases, and she was actually the second speaker. So the first speaker was independent of hers. She was like the retort to the first speaker, but the condemnation of the patriarchy, the condemnation of males and specifically white males, and I guess that's really her whole argument was eating meat is pro patriarchy.
Yeah,
and it's outrageous. It is outrageous. This is what outrageous looks like.
So white males are the problem. Meanwhile, if you go to Hong Kong, 10 times.
Right.
So is it Asian people too? I mean, are we gonna why is it white people?
Well, she's
why is the white male? You know what I mean?
You just have to see it. Let's there's no continuity to her thoughts as far as I'm concerned, but it's just it's just word salad of attacking the patriarchy.
Now, to move not beyond meat, but move on with the debate, I call upon Cara Adams to conclude the side proposition.
I've read the motion, and I believe we should move beyond all meat. So, what we choose to eat has consequences far beyond the circumference of our plates. Specifically, your vote tonight expresses your allegiance to or rejection of a white supremacist patriarchal worldview. Do we vote to further inequality and sustain world-destroying violence? In the sexual politics of meat, I introduced the concept of animals as absent reference. In order to be eaten, animals must disappear as living beings, that is, be killed. They then disappear conceptually, as so many forms in which we eat animals' corpses are massaged by euphemistic language: hamburger, steak, pork, bacon, etc. We know how settler colonialism worked, and erase and replace system that forced indigenous people off the land, replacing them with cattle and white settlers. I recognize today as Indigenous Peoples Day.
Look, not everybody's an expert. Not everybody's like an expert, but they have a voice and opinion. I appreciate that Michaela's not scared to give her opinion. It's not always right, but my voice isn't always right. My brother's voice isn't always right. Right. Joe Rogan's voice isn't always right,
To me, it just seems like Michaela Peterson is not afraid of the moment. And she's sort of, people trust her instincts, and she's learning as she goes.
She's a badass.
She's learning as she goes.
Yeah, to me, it's as a man, it's a turn on to see a woman who's first of all pretty, but also just taking control of shit. She doesn't take any shit from people, and I really like that about her. I think she's just impressive in the way that she carries herself, and the way she went out and made her own podcast, and she's just crushing with the guests that she gets, and I couldn't be happier for what she's done and turned it into. It doesn't mean that I have to agree with her, it doesn't mean that I'm backing everything she says, but it's cool what she's done, and we can recognize that.
I'll have to pull his name up. I don't want to fumble too long here in front of you right now, but the guy that was on Rogan yesterday, the defense lawyer that's helping all these.
Yeah, Josh Dubin. Love him.
His whole his thesis of what he was saying in the podcast with Rogan yesterday was, we don't have to agree on everything. Mm-hmm. Let's find common ground. Let's be civil to each other. Let's take an opportunity to learn and make strides forward on the common ground. And I mean, that's what our society's kind of gotten how to do.
Josh Dubin's one of the only people that when he's on the podcast, I pretty much cry every time. He gets me every time because he cries. But I've cried on Joe Rogan's podcast a couple times, you know, where I've just completely broken down in front of Joe. But whenever anybody, because I'm leaving the studio going, oh my God, I just bombed that. Like, what an idiot. Like, I'm crying on Joe Rogan's podcast talking about my, trying to get sober and I need help and I can't and I'm in so much pain and I'm crying, right? It's the one thing that stood out to everybody. The one thing that said, like, man, that's real. I can feel that, And so I think that this is a side tangent, but when you're listening to a podcast and people are really that emotional about what they do, it's worth it to listen to them. Even if you don't agree with them, it's worth it to listen to them. There's something that they're so passionate about, they're willing to cry for it. Like if this lady was up here crying about the animals, I might have like more like, oh my God, like she's right. This is crazy. Like, because it gives you an emotion. She's giving zero emotion in her
So
speech.
she doesn't seem mad at the animals. She seems angry at men.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
But
and
saying
I'm with you on that.
About the animals, I think I said. Maybe.
No, you said it right, and I'm just saying, to your point, yes, and I don't think that she doesn't seem particularly bothered by animal cruelty.
Yeah.
She just seems to be angry that somehow eating meat is considered masculine and it embodies.
One of the things I'm going to do in Meatheads is I'm going to go out on the streets and I'm going to try to interview over 100 people. And I want to make a montage and ask how many people would like to see their cows and sheep and chickens mutilated, Or do you think they should have a humane death? Or do you think they should just, it doesn't matter and they can kill them however you want? It's like, I think you're going to get an overwhelming response that people that eat meat do not want their animals abused. Nobody, I have never met a person, besides maybe somebody that's like actually evil. This is a trait of serial killers that want to harm animals. And it's really like one of the number one traits of a serial killer. It's like, they're like lab rats, like they practice on animals and then they kill people. And I just don't think anybody wants that. I've never seen anybody be like, you know what? Let's make it worse for the environment. Let's make more poop lagoons across the country that are infecting the water supply. No, let's figure out how to fix it. Bill Gates has done so much to help people in third world countries. And I'm split on Bill Gates. A lot of people just hate him and think he's crazy, but I also think he's done a lot of really, really great things. And I really do think he's doing his best to do what he thinks is best. That's the way those guys think. We may like it or not like it. There's not much we can do about it because they're billionaires and they run everything. And I don't even know what my point was. Where was I?
Well, it's interesting you said that though. Aren't those the scariest villains?
Yeah.
The ones that live by their convictions though, regarding Bill Gates?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, some of his.
Well, like shooting dust into the air and this and that. But, like a lot of things also take a lot to get passed and a lot to get moving. So I think like a lot of his ideas. But what I'm saying is that if he could engineer the, okay, you're never going to get rid of killing the animal. But like, what if Bill Gates could engineer a system that turned so-called factory farms, which a lot of people that actually work on these farms, they don't call them factory farms. They say there's no such thing as factory farming. What we do here is like by the book, it's industrial agriculture, but it's by the book of how you would raise a cow in a safe and friendly and humane way. And other people say, no, it's not humane because they're out in a pen and they're standing in their own poop. But people need to realize cows actually like that. They're herd animals. They like hanging out in soft dirt and poop, and like that's what they are. They're animals.
They
like being in the cold.
When I think of factory farms, I think of like those pig farms that you've seen, like the secret footage come out of. I've never really seen.
And you know where all those are? In other countries.
Really?
It's very, very rare. There was an incident here. I'm not going to deny ever that people treat animals poorly here. I'm never going to say that. I think our chicken farms can use a lot of help. I think some of them are actually disgusting from what I've seen. But the pig farms and things that you see on these movies like Dominion, they're always in other countries and they try to like sneak it in. There was a thing here with Fairlife milk. If you look up Fairlife, they had, and it's hard to watch, man. It's like watching Joe Rogan's N-word video. It's just hard to take, But because basically, they're basically beating animals to try to get them into pens and get them into different things. But what happened, undercover footage taken by an animal rights activist exposed Fair Oaks Farms, which supports milk to dairy companies, including Fairlife, revealed appalling evidence of animal abuse. In response, multiple stores stopped carrying Fairlife product and numerous consumers boycotted the brand. Now, Encima drinks those every single day. And we're actually working on getting a sponsorship with that company. And the first thing that we had to do was vet out all this animal rights things and see what happened. And so the next day, the CEO went on YouTube and he apologized and he said, listen, we have 4 workers at like 2 of our farms and they're abusing animals. They have been fired. They will never be part of this company again. We have put in new like ways to ensure, you know, the treatment of the animals. We've put in cameras everywhere, and they basically took a couple $1 million and they fixed it. Is that the CEO of Fairlife who's figured out a better way to make milk? So milk has a lot of sugar in it, and we have kids drinking it all the time. But what if you cut the sugar out of that? It's obviously just going to be healthier, more protein, less sugars, and that's what Fairlife does, and they have a great product, and they make these amazing protein shakes. Is that the CEO's fault that he had a couple bad eggs? No. We can look down on the company for a minute for it. Maybe, I don't think boycotts do anything. I think they're stupid. I'm going to boycott it. It never works. Usually the brands get more popular anyway,
Yeah, I mean, there's only so much. This is the time we judge. What do they do after?
Yeah,
how do they respond to the exposure?
Yes. Mark had a problem here with the steak shake where he got a batch of the steak shake and he tried it. He goes, wow, that tastes weird. It doesn't taste like the normal steak shake. And like right away, he pulled it all and he gave everybody, he sent emails to everybody and they gave him refunds. And they also gave him a $25 gift card to use for whatever they want from Slingshot. And I think that's really cool. It's like, people are going to be mad they couldn't get the steak shake. And it's actually still out of stock, but it should be back in a couple weeks. But it's those are hard things to take. But it's funny how Smelly doesn't care about anything. So I'm like asking about, like, man, that's got to be really damaging or whatever. Smelly's like, no, you just overcompensate when you fix it, and people are fine.
Okay.
People are usually fine. And he's like, and if they're really mad, what are you going to do? It's just a product. Like, it's a product, and I make it, and I don't have any more. Or if I give it to you, it's going to be gross. Let me get it to the point where it's good, and I think people forgive that.
Yeah,
hopefully,
I think, yeah, well,
it could definitely hurt sales in the long run because you've been selling it, and then you're not, and people don't know it's back in stock, and et cetera, et cetera. So it definitely can hurt your sales, but I think for the most part, customers stay loyal if they like you and they like what you're making.
Yeah. I was thinking about this today. I'm a big fan of Kevin Smith. I'm always talking to you about Kevin Smith and Fat Man and Batman with Mark Bernard, and I go there because those two love movies and they know a lot about movies and they give good talk on movies.
Oh, they have a podcast?
It's great. Fat Man and Batman, or Fat Man
I'm in.
and Beyond.
I mean, I've been looking for like some new podcasts to listen to.
As far as like industry, film, kind of comic book fandom stuff, they're into like Marvel. They're comic book nerds.
Really quick for the listeners, what are your top 3 podcasts?
Oh God. Okay. Well, Rogan.
Yeah.
We go Rogan.
Let's not count Rogan. Besides Rogan, because everybody listens to Rogan, I think.
Okay.
Because I'm always looking for new things. I've been listening to a lot of Adam Curry's podcast because it's really long. Like I like doing things while I'm going through. So No Agenda I listen to. They pull great clips. They just have fun. They're like older guys. They're very smart. They go teeter on the edge of like conspiracy theories and stuff. And I just like it. I like the format. I like the way that they do it. But what about?
I'll go podcast and then 2 others. So podcast plus 2, because I think the other 2 sort of balance it out. So I really like Tiger Belly, makes me laugh.
What is Tiger Belly?
That's Bobby Lee's podcast.
Okay, I never listened to that.
Flagrant 2 for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's stop. Flagrancy 2, Tim Dillon, and then as far as podcasts, and I would say Fat Man and Beyond.
Yeah, I think when Tim Dillon has a good episode, there's nobody better.
Yeah.
I like Bill Burr a lot, but I also find that his podcast is like kind of short. It's like an hour or under, and it's just him like ranting basically the whole time. But he talks too much, and I appreciate this because that's what we're doing right now, talking about what we like. He talks too much about like Formula One racing, which I just can't ever care about cars going around a track, no matter how many times I listen to it. But I do love Flagrant 2. That's like one of my top ones. And Mark Bell's Power Project. Actually, I think Mark, it's weird because it's weird listening to my brother a lot, but I think that he has some of the most interesting guests on. And it's not even, I'm not listening to it. This is going to sound bad because of my brother and I love him, but I'm not listening to it for Mark. I see Mark every day. I'm listening to it for the people that he has on, which I think is really important. I definitely like Fighter and the Kid. For some weird reason, I am, probably because I've been I guess I'm friends with him, friends with Brendan Schaub. And I know Brian Callen. I've gotten to meet him. I've been on their podcast. And for whatever reason, no matter what anybody says about them and whatever people bag on Brendan for his comedy, I just like him. There's something about him and the things he talks about.
He's charming.
He's also like just kind of a big, lovable knucklehead.
Uh-huh.
And so for some people, they say, well, I can't even listen to him because, he's just so all over the place. And I'm like, but I like that about him. He's really good at giving movie recommendations. He's really good at explaining things that have happened in society. Like he's on the ball with almost everything.
Yeah. I think he is this charming guy. He's kind of a fuckboy. He's but he's got an intelligence that is undeniable.
I got a weird draw to him.
Ethic that's undeniable.
I know a lot of people are like polarized by him, and I have a weird connection with him, and maybe it's just because I've known him from Gold's Gym for so many years and stuff like that. I'm like, oh, it's cool to listen.
I disagree with a lot of stuff that he does.
Yeah.
As a whole of who he is as a person, I'm a fan.
Yeah.
Like I think he was totally wrong in the Ariel Helwani beef.
Yeah.
I blame him for all of it, but that doesn't mean like. I mean, dude, I've done so much stupid shit in my life. I don't have any place to judge anybody. I want to throw this in there just to balance out. Breaking Points, Russell Brand.
Oh, Breaking Points is
and
great.
Power Project
Now,
are my
Russell
three.
Brand-
Like that's where I get my. I feel like Breaking Points, Russell Brand, and Power Project. That's like where I get my news from.
Yeah. Breaking Points is really good.
Yeah.
With Sagar and Crystal.
Yeah.
And then what about the other one? Russell Brand is his actually on like because his are shorter, correct?
Yeah, that's
like
why
10
I like
minutes.
him. I like that. I actually that's.
Do you think
helpful
Russell
for me.
Brand is? Do you think he's reading? He's so good, and he looks like he's kind of looking at a teleprompter. Like, do you think he's reading like when I did my pitch the other day, and I was reading off the thing, kind of, but it sounded like it probably to the people just sounded like I was talking.
Don't think so.
Click him really quick.
I don't think so.
If Jeff Bezos wants to drive a bloody great
'Cause
big
he
yacht
looks
through your
directly into the
city,
camera,
my
so I'm like,
dad,
is he reading
you
it?
better get your bridges out of the
10
way.
or 15
And if some of that money
I think he spends 10 or 15 minutes just sort of cramming.
He could.
was
But it
got
seems
by not
like
paying
so. The way it feels to me is it's like a semi-read. It's like maybe the bullet points are there, and maybe
that might be it. That might be it.
like it's like bullet point, because you can't deliver something so eloquent without knowing the bullet points. I feel.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think he crams a little.
Yeah.
He clearly prepares. He's not just completely winging it off of
Play
just
him a little bit. Let's see how good
people
he is.
properly, and in some cases, allowing people to die at work. That's none of your business.
I used to hate Russell Brand because he was in a movie and he played some like sexy. What is it, like Along Came Polly or something?
Yeah, and then also Get Him to the Greek. He played Get. He was
Okay,
in
I
Get Him
liked
to the
him
Greek.
I liked him by then.
Yeah.
But before, when he was in like that first movie, I was like, who is this guy? I think it was with Jennifer Aniston, maybe. Along Came Polly. Is that what he's in? And I don't know why I didn't like him in the movie. Oh, because he played like a French asshole. And
Forgetting Sarah Marshall, maybe.
go down to his
That could be
filmography.
it.
Russell, I'm rarely wrong, so keep going down.
I believe you.
It would be down, down, down.
Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
Keep going down. Okay, where's Get Him to the Greek? Is that on there?
Right here.
It would be before that. So maybe it was Forgetting Sarah Marshall. Look up Russell Brand Forgetting Sarah Marshall,
Got it.
and let's see what happens. Along Came Polly was the one with the shark. Like, that's what that's famous for, right? He plays like the lover, right? Like the French lover in like a Speedo. Put images. Is that him in that movie? Or, okay, type in Russell Brand, Along Came Polly. Because I know what's his face was in that movie. He's the shark guy. Wasn't Philip Seymour Hoffman the shark?
Well, that's IMDb. Along Came Polly.
Yeah, we're just wasting time here, Russell.
I'll edit this.
There's
all
two
out.
L's in Polly, by the way.
Hey, that's why I have spell check built into it. I can just, and it's all here.
Along Came Polly. Russell Brand's not in it, is he? Oh, Judah Friedlander. Is maybe Judah Friedlander who I thought?
Maybe.
No, I remember it was Russell Brand. Type it. This is gonna be really bad. Type in Russell Brand Speedo, because that's kind of like why I hated him. I think he was in a Speedo. I don't know why I hated him. I used to have weird thoughts. I used to have weird. Is that? This is getting bad. All right, let's move on this topic.
Last one.
There's like a movie where he plays like a sexy love interest who's like cheating on the girlfriend. No, it's not that. He looks great, man.
Is that Russell Brand? Is that even Russell Brand?
I don't know, but for being like kind of skinny, he's kind of got a decent base there. We could build something out of that.
Do something with that.
His waist is a little wide, which is weird, but he might be a good squatter.
He might be a good squatter.
See how his waist goes in and then it pops back out?
Classic endomorph.
Well, he's got a weird...
It's a classic endomorph, bro.
He's got a weird, like a hot chick would kind of be built like that. Like curves at the hips.
Yeah.
You know? I was watching Kill Tony the other day, which is actually my other favorite podcast, but I look at it as like a different category. You know, you get to go up on stage and you have 60 seconds of comedy.
Mm-hmm.
And it is so funny. Like Tony Hinchcliffe is amazing. And Tony Hinchcliffe had a guy on stage, and this must have been so embarrassing. He's like, did you used to weigh like 500 pounds? And the guy's like, well, no, I was like a little heavier. And he's like, you have the weirdest physique I've ever seen. He's like, your hips are so big. You have these big granny hips. And he bagged on a guy for a good 5 minutes about his hips and his physique. And the guy like felt terrible afterwards. But it was so funny the way he was just kept going at the guy for his like, he's like, how could you even work out to look like that? He's like, I don't understand. Like when you work out, like things are going the wrong direction or something. Like how would your body get built like that?
And he is so, you could tell that guy you learned real early in life words to attack and defend himself with.
Yeah. Tony Hinchcliffe, I don't think anybody could hang with him in like a roast. I would actually like to see Tony have a show called Kill Tony, right? Like I think they should modify Kill Tony.
You were telling me about this, weren't you?
Well, I don't know. But I think what you should do is there should be another version of Kill Tony where you actually get to try to kill Tony. So basically you go up on stage and you got, maybe it's 30 seconds to roast Tony Hinchcliffe. And then he roasts you back.
You might not have caught this episode, but
did they do that?
Snoop Dogg basically pitched that same idea to Joe Rogan when Snoop Dogg was on Joe Rogan.
Oh, okay.
And said and basically tried to get Rogan.
Oh, like a battle of verses.
Yeah. Because they were talking about rap verses and then it led to comedian verses.
What about, like verses with like Tony Hinchcliffe versus what's the guy that's on there all the time?
David Lucas.
And
now he just did.
David Lucas, though, is not at anywhere near the level.
He just launched a podcast, though, where that's what he does. It's ironic that you said that. Let me pull it up for you.
I like David Lucas a lot.
David Lucas
will be great in about a year.
No, check this out.
Check
this out. You nailed it.
We're also hearing, you got to remember, we're hearing David Lucas in such a raw form. Like we're hearing him do like a minute. We're hearing David Lucas work out. So I think if you heard David Lucas just on his own, like in a stand-up, he'd probably be great. But he's just giving you like a minute at a time on Kill Tony, so you don't really get to.
So remember how we were talking about the intelligence of Brandon Schaub?
Yeah.
He's basically launched his version of Barstool Sports with his Thick Boy channel. And he's got a lot of different shows that he's launching on it. One of them being David Lucas.
Good for him. We got Brendan into kratom. He loves kratom.
Flatlined with David Lucas. See,
Brendan loves Mind Bullet. He uses it all the time.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Oh, you know what? I got a message yesterday about kratom. I wanted to bring it up to you.
What's that?
It says, "Fuck you, Chris." And I'm like, whoa. And then like the girl's like, "My mom died from kratom. She overdosed on kratom. Blah blah blah. Fuck you for promoting it as something that's safe and all healthy." Whatever, and my simple response was like, please send me the autopsy. I'd be happy to change my mind if it's true. Like, these people get on the internet and they just tell lies, right? Like, so maybe it does say that on the toxicology, report or whatever, but I want to see it. I have so many people lie about kratom deaths and things like that, saying there was no other drugs in the system, and every time I looked into it, it was bullshit.
I'm just going to say this, just first of all. If this is true, I'm so sorry for this person's loss of life, and so sorry for the hurt. That goes without saying. Yes. I know you feel the same way, but I think people. I mean, if you take too much Kool-Aid, Tylenol, alcohol, if you take too much mouthwash.
Well, that's what I explained afterwards because I said I talk about using it responsibly.
It's not too much water can kill you, Chris.
So what I said to her is I talk about it, how to use it responsibly.
Right.
I warn people that it can be habit forming or addictive, and I tell people don't take too much of it.
Right.
With those things, it's very safe and very effective. Probably the most safe and effective plant for pain relief on the entire planet over Advil, Tylenol. I just had a friend, my friend Tom Prince, 52 years old. He's dead from ibuprofen, basically. Like, he was a pro bodybuilder. He was 320 pounds. The last 10 years, maybe 15 years. He used to talk to Cena and I all the time. Cena and I used to work at the gym, and Tom was like one of the smartest bodybuilders we know. But he fucked himself up with, he was doing Nubain for a while, which is like an opioid, and then he switched from Nubain to ibuprofen because he was in so much pain every day. And he was taking like 20 to 30 a day, I guess. Like, he would take like 8 at a time, and he would do that like 3-4 times a day. And in like 2 years, his kidney was completely shot.
Yeah, I mean...
Completely shot. And so he just passed, and the past couple, like 15 years, he's been about 180. Which is crazy. He was like a 300-pound bodybuilder. And I always remember because Cena would always say, he'd be like, Boar, that guy's the smartest bodybuilder. Like, he knows everything. And so it just even shows you, like, however smart you are, like, he was brilliant, Tom. He's a really nice guy. But however smart you are, things can get you, Don't use too much of anything. It can get you.
I was saying, your brother stopped by today, and we chatted for a couple of minutes. And I was saying to him today, He's
right here.
Oh,
tell him to come in.
I was saying to him today, I literally had a bottle of whiskey go bad above my drying machine.
Hopping on a massage.
Love you guys.
Love you.
Smelly.
I literally, my washing machine, I had a bottle of whiskey go bad above my dryer. Just sat there. I maybe cracked it once.
Whiskey can go bad?
Yeah. Whiskey last night. Yeah.
Oh, if like air gets to it, but like not if it's.
I think once you've opened it, because I opened it, and so, I mean, I sealed it after I opened it, but I opened it to have a couple shots when I bought it.
Yeah.
I can't have a package of Oreos last 3 days in my house.
Oh no.
I can't have a package of Oreos.
Yeah. So what's worse for your house? Like for me, if I had the alcohol in my house, there'd be no reason for me to have it. But just say I had like a girlfriend or something and she wanted to drink, and I kept it in my house, I'd be able to stay away from it so easy. But if that was a bottle of Skittles,
exactly,
I would fucking chug it.
Exactly. And I don't know how to eat Oreos responsibly. I don't eat Oreos three at a set.
Hey, Russell, here's a bag of Oreos, right? Just use them as directed. Just be responsible.
Just have 2.
It says take 2. That's the serving size.
2 a day.
So yeah, you have 2 a day for like the next 6 years, and you're gonna like lose a ton of weight. And you would actually lose a lot of weight if you did that and kept your calories in a caloric deficit, and you had 2 Oreos a day every day.
Yeah.
And it's like maybe those are some of the bargaining chips that we have to use though to get ourselves to eat good. Like you could make a deal with yourself that if you said, I'm gonna eat 2 Oreos every fucking day. Like, I'm just going to do it at the end of my meal. So what I'm going to do is like fast, a good part of the day, eat some calories, and then for dessert, I'm going to have 2 Oreos.
I mean, maybe you could do that. Maybe somebody else could do that. I can't do that.
That's what I'm saying.
An addict,
you don't have
I'm
the
a
control.
sugar addict.
Yeah, you don't have the control.
I can't.
If it's there, you eat it, which is weird because like, okay, I've developed a disdain for alcohol and like opioids. So if you gave me alcohol, I wouldn't care about it. Like I'd just be like, whatever. You gave me some booze. I just be like, just let it sit there.
Every time I have sweets, Chris, it's a dance with the devil. Every single time.
Okay, if there are sweets in my house, I will eat them.
Yeah.
The other thing is, I had to delete the 7-Eleven app off my phone because it's dangerous. It's like it's actually pretty cheap. Like if it's like midnight and you want like bullshit. You can just go on a 7-Eleven app and order it, right?
And what, do they run it to your car?
No, they bring it to your house.
No.
Yeah, and it only takes like 20 minutes, so it's like amazing, right?
Are they running it just through DoorDash?
Something like that,
Probably.
Grubhub or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I would order, like, I love candy, I tell everybody this, and I would get like depressed or something, and I would order like, a couple packets of Skittles, but when I eat candy, I eat a lot of it. I'll eat like 2 or 3 king size candies. You know what I mean? Like I don't just buy one. Like if I could buy one, that'd be great. But what I do is every once in a while, I'll do that like maybe like once a month or something, or probably not even, like once every 2 months. Even like during World Carnivore Month and all that, I didn't do that at all. So that's why I like World Carnivore Month. I almost need to make, like next week, I'm going to start something, but I don't know what it is, but I need to start something that's like a clean slate. Like I'm just going to do this for the next, 30 days.
Did I tell you about that?
I've been wavering a little bit, to be honest.
I recorded a little thing on my phone. I was thinking about putting it up on like my YouTube channel or whatever, but I'm not super concerned with that. That is exactly the mentality that I'm going to do this entire year. I don't necessarily know what the theme of every month is, but my intention this year is to just take every month, 1 month at a time. And I'm going to look at every month like it's a game. Yeah, we talked about this over lunch or something like that. I'm going to make every month its own personal, I lost 8 pounds in January. I'm down right now, down currently 7 pounds in February. And I'm not going to, January is behind me.
Yeah.
I'm worried on January, and then I'm just worried about February right now. And once February is over, then I'm going to start again on March.
We need to like get on, like I need to figure out what it is that I need to do. What I really like as a setup is to not eat all day basically, and then eat at night. But then I'm also thinking like, well, maybe I shouldn't do that every day, So maybe like some days I'll eat during the day, and then try to shut it down earlier at night. But what I've been doing, and I think this is fantastic, basically fasted until about 6 o'clock last night. And it's not that hard. It's like, I don't eat and I just keep doing things. I just like become active. And I use things, like I use nicotine patches. I think I even have it right here.
I've always wanted to try one of those.
You can try one. I use snus. Right?
That's a nicotine patch.
This is interesting because I've
always wanted to try one of those.
I've chewed tobacco, and I'm not recommending that people do this. I don't think you should get involved in any habit. But nicotine is actually really good for your brain.
Right.
This is just based on what I've been told and what I've read, and I can't prove anything. But I used to dip for like 30 years. Right after I did ibogaine, I quit dip like that. Boom. Then about like 3 or 4 months later, I was talking to Jeremy Avila, who's going to be on our podcast, by the way, tomorrow, I believe.
Tomorrow, yeah.
Yeah, Jeremy's one of the best deadlifters in the world.
Wow.
And so I just told, Jeremy had these Zyn packs. They're called Zyn, Z-Y-N. And I just said to him, like, hey, how are those things? They're pretty good. He's like, oh, yeah, they're great. They're just like plant material, like some sort of vegetable thing, powder, mixed with nicotine. And so I know that nicotine's really healthy for you if it's not in tobacco. So then it's ZYN. So I started using those, but those are like really small and they have like flavors and they have like sucralose in them and stuff, and it would give me heartburn. And I was like, I really actually like the taste of tobacco. So these packets, these General Snus, they're from Sweden. And snus is actually real tobacco that's been pasteurized. You put it in your upper lip and it just sits there for like however long you want. Like what I like about these is that you can keep it in like all day long. Like you could just keep it in there and it has a really nice like caramel. Whoa, I farted. Did you hear that?
I thought your chair creaked.
No, that was actually that was so weird. I don't know what happened.
Oh, I thought your chair creaked.
Well, hey, edit that out.
No way. That's
man. No, it was my chair. Anyway, snus. Okay, so it's pasteurized. So I had a friend, my friend
won't even let you get in without.
So my friend Jason DeGarmo that I went to high school with, he died from mouth cancer. And that's what always worried me about chewing tobacco was mouth cancer. And, I had a friend die from it. So then somebody told me, actually Leo on Longevity told me that if you use snus, especially like you have to use snus that's from Sweden, not that they make here, not the Camel stuff. You got to use the General. This is the best one. And I like the white one. And you put it in your lip, and basically this is pasteurized. So according to the internet, which is not always right, there has not been one death associated with cancer from using snus because it's pasteurized. For whatever reason, it's never really caused cancer in anybody.
Interesting.
And so I find that interesting. It delivers like real nicotine with good flavor. Do you want to try one now?
Yeah. Yeah, and I just let it sit?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
So these, they like pack them in tight, but I like to kind of
Okay.
And then just put it in your upper lip.
And then am I going to find myself swallowing this?
No, you you don't spit. Leave it in there. You might get high.
Never felt more like a man right now. Never felt more like a man.
We're snoozing it up.
I'm going to
Now
love
I
it.
probably started you on a bad habit.
I hope so.
Well, you know what? I don't think it's a bad habit, though. Here's how snooze could help you, right? I fast all day.
Right.
And what I do is like I go on an hour walk and I throw in one of these and it just kind of gives you a little pep, like nicotine gives you a little energy, a little alertness.
Okay.
And I go out on like a walk and then I just forget about eating. And it's also an appetite suppressant, big time. Like big time appetite suppressant. So if you're fasting and you're using snooze or even like Mark, people think it's ridiculous and they get mad at Mark for making a fasting gum. But the fasting gum is excellent. Like I think it's also... all the stuff that's in it works, like Apigen's in it, and Dr. Andrew Huberman talks about that. And, there's rutin is in it, and rutin helps you like not want to eat.
Right.
And it's in there in a decent amount. And so if you chew that gum and like go for a walk, first of all, you're not eating when you're chewing gum. And secondly, like I'm sure it has a profound placebo effect. Placebo effect can work up to 16%. So imagine you can fast longer because you just believe that you can. Who cares? I don't care why I'm fasting longer. The idea that it's called fasting gum, I think, puts in your head this positive idea.
That's an intentionality.
Yeah, but it is like what I want to tell people also. Like people think Mark's out there trying to like rip people off, and it's a money grab. Mark's response to that is everything's a money grab.
Right.
Like he went to a dinner for his buddy whose daughter had cancer. And it's a fundraiser. So, Mark and Andy go and you buy a table for like some crazy, ridiculous amount of money and you go. And it's more because they love their buddy, you know? It's actually, it was Jason Khalipa's daughter. Jason Khalipa won the, at first I wasn't going to like mention it, but I think it's cool. He won the CrossFit Games. He has the most beautiful kids. And his daughter Ava had leukemia. And this guy, what a warrior, man. Like we went to his house to like podcast with him. And we had to do it outside because like nobody could be around his daughter. This is way before like COVID or anything. He just wouldn't let anybody near his daughter because she was so sick. And they didn't, like if she got an infection or a cold or something, they could have lost her. She is the most beautiful little girl. I think she's probably like 13 or 14 now. She is so pretty. All of her hair grew back. It's like a miracle. Like it makes me want to cry just talking about Jason because Jason won the CrossFit Games in 2008. He's jacked, so he's not like, look at this.
This is our Jason that's going to be here this week?
No, that's Jeremy.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, Jason Khalipa. So you can look him up. It's KHLAIPA or something like that. So anyway, Jason won the CrossFit Games in 2008. And, but he's big. Like people that like bodybuilding and powerlifting would love Jason Khalipa because he's jacked and he does jujitsu. He's just like, what an athlete, man. Like most of the guys in CrossFit are... Well, they're in really great shape, but usually like they're not that big. And Jason's like really jacked. Just hit search. It'll go. It'll find it. You're close enough. Yeah, Jason Khalipa.
There we go.
Click on click on images.
Yeah, then.
He's a stud, man. And what a cool guy. And there he is. You might have seen him around here. Like click that picture with the blue shirt.
This one right here?
Yep, click that. Look how jacked he is.
Good looking guy.
Yeah, and that's jacked for like so he owns what's interesting about Jason. I just love people that kick ass. He's got over 26 gyms and they're all in like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, like in their headquarters. He owns the gyms and he supervises the programs and does all that for 26 gyms called I think it's called NorCal Fit or North.
Really?
Yeah. Awesome though, right? Like what a cool
it's a badass.
And like God bless him with his daughter and like so I love that Mark and Andy, like, of course they're going to go to that. And of course they're going to donate a lot of money because they're cool. They, if that was, Mark's kid, God forbid, we know Jason and everybody else would come to our aid, like the outpouring of love that we've gotten. And people might take some of these things for granted, but when my mom died, it was crazy, man. Like how much love you feel and you're kind of like in a bad mood. So you're like, don't bother me. But after getting so many messages, you actually turn into a good mood.
Yeah.
Like it turns you into a good, it put me in a good mood.
Right.
So I was like, oh my God, like I'd post something on Instagram and get like 5,000 likes or 7,000 likes, which I never get. And I was like, oh my God, this is like crazy. And then I just got so many messages and phone calls and texts and talked to people You know, if you want to talk to somebody you haven't talked to in 15 years, if your mom dies, they're going to call you, you know? The one thing that made me sad is I had a girlfriend who's still like the love of my life named Carolyn. And we just had all she ever wanted from me, and I could never see it, was to get sober. And that's kind of the only person I really wish called me when my mom passed, just because I wanted to talk to her. And like, I sort of, it's weird. It's not like I want to get back together with her. I just want to clear the air with her. I want to be like, we had such good times together. And like everything was so cool. And like things got messed up. And you hating me forever bothers me every day because I did so much for her, you know? And I think a lot of people live with that. It's like, there's nothing you can do about it. Somebody won't talk to you. It's like in AA, they tell you like to go make amends to people.
I was thinking about that.
And I wanted to go make amends to her. This is crazy, dude. So I walk in. She had a friend who was gay, and his name was Josh. And she would hang out with Josh every day. I walked into rehab to get sober because that's all she wanted from me was to get sober. But I didn't realize it at the time. Like, that's all she really wanted. We would have got married, everything. Like, we were on the road, you know? And as soon as I got into my rehab in Santa Monica, I see this guy, Josh, and I'm like, oh my God, what are you doing here? And he's like, what are you doing here? And he was in rehab for crystal meth.
Wow.
Yeah. And so we hung out all the time. I, talked to him a lot. He had told me she had since gotten married, which I think I kind of knew. Oh, so this is even crazier. So she got married, had 2 kids. Mm-hmm. And he said, do you know when she was calling you before she got married? She started calling you again. I said, yeah. He's like, she kept calling you because she wanted to get out of the marriage and she wanted to like get back with you.
Really?
And I'm like, why didn't she just say something?
Just let me know.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So I don't know why I went off on that tangent, but it's good to go off on those
tangent.
Those kind of, well, like those things, I think those things affect you for the rest of your life. Like you would think it'd be easy to just like forget about somebody, like real easy. But there's certain things that she did that no woman has ever done for me, like not sexually, just well, like that too. But just the amount that she cared, and you realize it later, and you're like, I might never get that again.
I think this is why I've always wanted to like spur you back into podcasting, because everyone knows you as this great teacher, and everyone knows you as an example, but I don't think people in general have had a chance to get to know you as a man as well as I have. And these conversations are looks into the window of who you are.
You know what I learned from all of it?
What?
And when I got out of rehab, and especially after doing psychedelics like ibogaine and mushrooms, I just realized like I'm not that cool. Like, stop thinking that like, I was with that girl and I took it for granted. Mm-hmm. I should have been over the moon every day, but my perspective was bad. You know what I mean? Like my perspective wasn't, like I didn't care about, like I had this really beautiful girlfriend. I just didn't care that much. Whatever, just another thing. Yeah, I was making bigger. This is what really hurt. I was making Bigger, Stronger, Faster. She was with me the entire time we made the movie. Mm-hmm. And then right before I went to Sundance, she broke up with me and she didn't go to Sundance with me. And I was actually miserable for 15 days at Sundance. So
and that was during Bigger, Faster, Stronger. You were dealing with a heartbreak.
Bigger, Stronger, Faster.
Words.
Yeah.
You were dealing with a heartache at that time.
Oh, it was brutal. I think it's worse than like physical pain in a lot of ways.
Broken hearts.
Yeah. Oh, for me, like I just didn't want to do anything. I had a girlfriend. This is interesting. I had a girlfriend that was a wrestler. You can look her up, Looney Lane. And I got Jenny Looney Lane into wrestling, and she was just such a cool chick. I met her at Sharky's, and I started dating her. I met her like working the front door at Sharky's, and then she got into wrestling, and she did really well. She ended up getting on some like WWE stuff, and then it was a weird thing because that was like my first real girlfriend that I ever took seriously. But when Looney, L-U-L-O-O, you really can't spell.
This is not new. Yeah,
I know.
You know this.
Oh, you know what's going to come up is probably when she was chunky and she click images. I'll bet you it comes up where she's in her underwear and the thing. Okay.
Is this her?
Yeah, that's
okay.
So she looked like that in the bottom right corner with the bikini on. That's kind of what she looked like when we dated.
She's a pretty girl, man. She's a pretty woman.
Oh, she was Smelly's manager.
Really?
Click on that one in the top right.
Right here.
Yeah, she was Mark's manager, and her gimmick.
Oh, that's great.
Her gimmick was like the schoolgirl. We got along so good; it was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But she wanted to be a star, and so when she got the opportunity to go have sex with a WWE star, she did. Mm. And I found out about it like right away. Like you can't hide shit from me.
Right.
Like, no one's ever gonna get away with anything around me. I'm so observant. It's crazy.
Right.
So I just was like, "Hey, what happened?" And she told me, and I just said, "Just get out of here." Mm-hmm. She lived with me. I kicked her out at like 4 a.m. I said,
hey,
it's not my fault.
The repercussions of
go
being
find
unfaithful.
A place, go find a place to live. And I was so heartbroken. This is crazy. I was so sad and heartbroken. It's the first time I ever saw my abs, because what happened was this would be amazing if this could happen to me again without the heartbreak.
The heartbreak diet.
Dude, I got ripped. Yeah, heartbreak diet. I got ripped because I was just, I had this protein powder from Biotest, which is a great company. And I had this really yummy protein powder. It actually tasted a lot like Mark's new This Is the Whey protein. And that's not a plug, but you can go buy that. It's delicious. And so I would just drink that once a day, basically. I would go to the gym. I couldn't even lift because like I had no strength. It was so weird. Like I literally physically had strength, but I had no mental energy. So like I'd go to do curls and I'd pick up like 10 pounds and I'd just do a couple reps and I'd leave the gym.
Okay.
And that went on for like 3 months where I was like just devastated, you know? And it also turned into like, that was the beginning of alcoholism, you know? It was like, then I was
heartache,
just like.
onset heartache. Huh?
It wasn't even heartache.
Right.
I love that dude.
Yes.
He is so grizzled and like his voice and that, like what an amazing.
Yes.
I feel like he should do voiceovers for like everything.
Yeah.
Like if I was going to make a documentary and I needed a narrator, I would just go fucking get me Ron White.
He's kind of like the.
You know who else is a good narrator?
Who?
The dude that looks like Andre the Giant. What is his name? He's in Hellboy.
He's a big guy.
What the hell's his name? Hellboy. It's on the tip of my tongue.
Yeah, I'm thinking of him from a different show, but I know what you're talking about.
Ron Perlman. Yeah, so Ron Perlman does the UFC. Remember the old, pull this up, Russell.
Yeah.
You want to hear a voiceover? Do you want to hear, people tell me I have a good voice for voiceovers. Go on YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
He looks just like Andre the Giant.
Yes.
It's crazy. So click on YouTube.
I will.
And then go to, type in the autumn wind. You want to hear a voiceover voice. Mark and I used to talk about this all the time. This is kind of a big reason, like why I love documentaries and why I love doing things based on like real stuff, because it is, yeah.
Is this it? Is this
the one with Al Davis right there. Now listen to this guy's voice and how good it is. The autumn wind.
The autumn wind is a pirate.
Oh, yes.
Blustering in from sea.
Let it go. Can't stop it.
With a rollicking song, he sweeps along, swaggering boisterously.
His face is weather beaten. He wears a hooded sash with a silver hat upon his head and a bristling black mustache. He growls as he storms the country, a villain big and bold. The trees all shake and quiver and quake as he robs them of their gold.
That's fantastic.
The autumn wind is a raider, pillaging just for fun. Will knock you down and upside down, or knock you down and all around, and laughed when he's conquered and won. Dun dun dun. Like that's like things that are embedded in my memory from like being a child, because Mark and I, we would watch things so many times until like the VCR would break. Dude, we had so many NFL films things, and we would just watch them like over and over and over.
Yeah.
Like, we would watch this one play. Let's see if we can find this. Earl Campbell spears a guy. We would watch it every day because he headbutts the guy. Maybe it's a headbutt, but I thought he puts it in the guy's chest. Boom. Oh! There it is. Oh! Go back to that. Let's see it again. It's so great, dude. Like that is so savage. Watch
Look at the setup.
Boom.
Look at the setup. Look at the setup. He had to catch his feet.
Yep. Bam! And he did it on purpose. He did it totally on purpose, and he just runs the other way.
He caught his feet, planted so fast. He just can't stop it. Wow.
You know who's Mark's favorite guy ever is Bo Jackson, and it's actually the reason why my nickname is Boar, because I used to call Bo Jackson Boar Hog, and then Smelly was think I was like a boar, like I was destructive and short and jacked. And so they would call me Boar Hog, And we would always talk about going full bore. That was like a thing. Like, hey, let's go full bore. You got to just go full bore on it. You know?
Right.
And I would say that all the time. So him and his friends just started calling me Boar. Smelly's, like, all of our nicknames developed a little bit later in life. So Smelly wasn't Smelly all as a kid because, well, he had a bunch of different names. Like, we had a million nicknames for him. They were all terrible. They were all, like, way worse than Smelly, more derogatory. Smelly was, like, the nicest one, you know? So he stuck with Smelly. But really, Smelly came about when he was, like, in high school because we just started calling him that because, he started getting older, started lifting and whatever, and he just needed a nickname, so we would call him Smelly. And then Mad Dog's name came a little bit later, too, because we were in high school, and we met a guy from a different school, and his name was Mad Dog. And my friend Jimmy Mack, well, that's not his real name either, it's Jim Morabito, but Jimmy Mack, he would always talk about Mike, and he would say, oh, Mad Dog, he's crazy. And I'm like, who's Mad Dog? He's like, your brother. Your brother, he's like, Mad Dog is like the perfect name for your brother. He's Mad Dog. And Mark and I were like, you know what? You're right. And we started calling him Mad Dog, like when he was probably had just graduated high school. So it wasn't like a name he had like all growing up. It was like a little bit later on, in life. And what's really cool is my little cousin. He is going to University of Alabama to play lacrosse, I think.
Okay.
Which is awesome. I think that's great. But she loved Mad Dog when she was a little girl, and then he passed. So on her jersey for lacrosse, you can either put your last name or you can put a nickname. So she was Mad Puppy.
Oh, sweetheart.
Yeah.
Is that so beautiful?
Yeah, she was Mad Puppy. And
God
she
bless
was
her.
awesome, too, And she actually played football.
Mad Puppy.
Yep.
God bless Mad Dog.
Yeah. So my cousin Steven, it's his daughter, and she actually played football in like Pop Warner, and she would crush guys, She, it's amazing to watch kids grow up too, because, when she was younger, she was a pretty big girl, and like she's beautiful now. Like as she's like aged into it all, and like you know what I mean. It's kind of cool to see people grow up and grow out of like their childhood like chubbiness.
Their baby fat is it?
Yeah,
Is it
baby
used to
fat,
be called?
whatever.
It used to be called baby fat.
She's just a beautiful girl, and what a beautiful soul. Like and she's funny. She's a wise ass.
Yeah,
and that's I love that.
That's cool.
Yeah, but like I remember I saw her when we went back for New Jersey, like this year. I didn't even recognize her at first. I'm like, wow, you've gotten like so tall and like you just look completely different. It's amazing. And then her, her brother's a pretty big kid too. So we have a cool family. Like everybody in our family is great. We go to New Jersey on. You know what? Mark made me realize something because I was talking about like how we were the adventurous ones. And he said, yeah, but that doesn't take away from the fact that our family has a lot of great people in it. Like we were the only ones that like ventured out and did anything like kind of crazy, out of our family. And then Mark's like, but if you realize what our family did, they stayed home and they became teachers and coaches. And then I thought about it, and my dad has like 8 siblings. And between my dad's side of the family, all of our uncles and aunts are either like a teacher or a coach. Like I had an aunt who was an art teacher. My uncle has been a coach for like 35 years in Croton. And I have kids on Instagram that like hit me up and say, your uncle's my coach. He's just changed my life tremendously in all different ways, not just football. My cousin Steven, he's a coach. Everybody does something where they're helping other people. And I realized like, oh, that's in our blood. That's in our DNA.
That's really
cool. The Bell DNA is the coach and train people.
That's really cool. That's really cool.
Yeah. Help people find answers.
Yes.
My cousin Stacy, she's awesome. She is she does like all sorts of training. Like she loves working out. Like every time we see her, she's asking us about different exercises and different things. And she's in, pretty damn good shape for having 2 kids and being in her 40s and everything. She looks great. She's pretty. And Stacy, she's a teacher, but she's such a good soul and helps so many kids. She's like teaches younger kids, and she teaches a lot of kids with like special needs and stuff like that. And you just realize like, oh, that's in our family. That's why I do what I do. That's why people hit me up on Instagram and ask how to get off drugs or how to fix their diet or advice on something. And I give it because I care about people.
Who'd you crush today?
We're just talking, man. That's all this is. And that's what I want it to be. It's just like talk about life, talk about what's going on. keep you guys updated. I want my podcast to be a little bit different. I don't want to constantly just have people on here where I'm collecting people. I feel like a lot of podcasts do that, where it's like, who can we get? And then they all have the same guest list, right? So I'm just gonna have people on that are my friends, like kind of like what Rogan does, you know? Just have people that are my friends. Let's do this for fun. Let's see if we can make it into something. And the more we put out content, the more people will watch it, and more people will get involved. But I'm looking for the I'm in it for the long haul. You know, I don't want to just do this and collapse it. I want this to be something that ends up being really cool eventually, and it'll get bigger and it'll grow. And I just remember when Mark started, he had no followers. You know, I used to get so worried about that. Like my anxiety levels would be through the roof because I'd post a video. Like we're posting these videos, they get like 100 views sometimes. Who cares? It's 100 people that if they listen to what we're saying, it's going to help them.
Right.
And what I want to talk to people about that we have coming up, it's going to be really interesting, is I think what we're going to do with you is going to be awesome. So we are going to talk to Dr. Whitmer at Whitmer Rejuvenation Center. That's where I go. If you guys want to use that, you can go to Instagram, click the link in my bio. It's the most inexpensive and best TRT clinic that I think you can find. And it's not just TRT. They do women's health and everything else. And it only costs about $250 to get started, and it costs about $100 a month if you get prescribed testosterone. But you might get prescribed, you know, other things. But one of the things that we talked to them about was making your diet easier. Not simpler, just easier. Your diet is pretty much like kind of like a carnivore diet, like meat and fruit, right? Meat and that's kind of where we're at, or meat and fruit, maybe some veggies here and there. That's great. But how do we get you to stick to that so you're not hungry? If you're not hungry, if I can disarm your hunger, we don't have any problems.
I'll tell you, 2022 has been a great year for that, though.
Yeah.
I have just been really living by the principle that you and Mark talk about with protein leveraging.
Yeah.
But
what if you just never got hungry and you were doing that?
I know. Wow. Huh?
So we're talking about using semaglutide, which is a injectable drug that they've done a study in obese patients. We can bring that study up when we do it. I'll look more into that. But I believe there were patients, most of them weighed, I think, over 350 pounds. And I think that they lost, on average, 57 pounds using semaglutide for a course of like 6 months, I want to say.
Oh, wow.
Maybe it was even less. We'll find out all the information. But I just know that people that take it, like Derek, more plates, more dates, obviously, like, he's not a big guy. He doesn't need it. But he just wants to make his diet easier. He said it makes it a breeze. But there's a point where he said you're almost like not hungry at all. And if you're into bodybuilding, you want to hold on to muscle. But I feel like if you're on TRT and you're on semaglutide, that's the best bet because you're still moving forward as far as protein muscle synthesis. Just got to make sure you get enough protein in.
Right.
But what's the big deal if at the end of the night you're like, man, I hardly ate anything today because I'm not hungry, and you smash a protein shake?
Right.
You know, maybe even smash a protein shake with some strawberries in it or a banana in it or something like that to add, you know, because you didn't eat that much.
Right.
And you still want your body to have all the proper nutrients. We just want to not eat so often.
Right. And I think that's sort of like what we were talking about earlier with that, just to sort of wrap it full circle with that message you got. You know, like people are going to hear that and they're immediately going to think, oh, well, you are going to be promoting anorexic behavior. And I understand that there's some people out there that have anorexic tendencies. I am not one of those people. I'm not. We're not here saying this is how you become anorexic.
No.
This is an extreme treatment for someone with an extreme problem.
No, listen. People need to put it in perspective.
Exactly.
You weigh what, 470?
474.
474.
Yeah.
That's not good.
Down from 510.
Yeah, and we're trying to get you healthy.
Yeah, I want to get sub 300.
No matter what I do, if I can get you to lose 100 pounds.
200 pounds, Chris.
Well, I'm just saying, if we can get to 100 first, there is going to be so many health benefits that you get that you're going to keep reaching for more and you're going to keep going. Right? If we don't get to 100 pounds, you know, you might just stop. Like right now, the progress has been frustrating. You know, you're on a carnivore. Like you're doing everything right. You know, and then once in a while you fall off and you call me and you're all depressed about it. But what if you don't fall off? And what if you just stay on and you just keep going? You're like, I'm just not hungry. I think like Mark says this all the time. If you don't change everything, nothing changes. It's like an Albert Einstein quote.
Oh,
I think Albert Einstein actually said, if you change nothing, nothing changes. But Mark even turned it into more. But like, Mark's like, you should change everything about yourself if you really want to change. Like, if you want to change your body type forever, you got to kind of change a lot of shit about yourself.
Right.
Like, maybe you shouldn't be lifting weights. Maybe you should be doing more like mobility work and stretching and pulling the sled. And
which has been like my biggest shift this
maybe
year.
you should be walking more.
Right.
You know, like, I'd rather have you take as many steps as you could in a day than really lift weights right now, because, dude, you're a big ass dude. You have muscle on you.
I'm at a weird spot where I can't just say more is always the right answer. Like, I'm walking around 8,000 to 9,000 steps a day.
You got to be able to recover from it.
My feet can't handle any more than that. So if I supplement with a little bit of light duty
I got a couple
weights,
things to show you, because there might be some hope for that. So we have this thing in the gym, and at first I'm like, there's no way I could do that. But now that I do it, it's amazing. I'll bring you in there right now and we could try it. Have you tried to walk on the sand dune thing?
it's
like a big
cushy
pillow.
guy.
Yeah, it's like a big pillow.
Yeah, the cushy guy.
Just walking on that, like standing in place, putting on a good song you like, and doing it for like 3-4 minutes at a time.
It's interesting for me when I get on that, because I've used it before. All the stabilizing muscles burn out.
Yeah, your feet kill and everything. But see, that's how you fix your feet.
Yeah.
You're going to work all those little muscles, and your feet are going to be twitching and going crazy and weird. And if you can only do it for like 30 seconds, do it for 30 seconds, hop off, rest, do it for 30 seconds. Try to go on there for like 10 minutes a day. Try to just march on that thing. And I've been doing that. And it seems weird when you first start doing it, because you're just standing in one spot. I'm like, I'm not going to be able to do this for 10 minutes. But after like 3 minutes goes by, you're just locked in on it. It's actually really easy, and you just keep doing it. So things like that might be able to help you.
So right now I'm working on range of motion and just readjusting I used to be a toe walker as a young guy before I was in the Army, and I've always been a little duck foot.
Yeah.
So I'm bringing in the feet more aligned better, and that's been causing different new aches and pains in my back.
When you pull
adjusting.
a sled,
yeah,
do me a favor, take your shoes off.
Okay.
Because you want to let your feet splay out.
I will do that from now on.
Yeah, take your shoes off. We're in a safe environment here.
Sure.
Obviously, don't take your shoes off if you're out on the blacktop or something.
Right.
But we have turf, and so take your shoes off and just pull the sled backwards, and you'll start feeling all these weird sensations in your feet. But that's your feet getting fixed. It also might not hurt to go to like a Chinese not acupuncture, but like they do the reflexology.
There's
that stuff's amazing. And Oscar does that. Our buddy Oscar.
There's actually there's a little day spa down by my house that I've gone to before, where they sit you. It's almost like a beach chair, and your feet sit in a tub of water, and they just give you this hard pressure foot massage. That's just it's not pins. It's them pushing in with their knuckles and the tips of their thumbs, and they just open up in between all of the toe knuckles and toe bones, and I that's been therapeutic. I've been there before. I've been thinking I need to get back there again.
Do they offer extra services?
Not yet, but
I'm
still hopeful.
You ever been in a massage place? Me and Lauren were laughing so hard. Like, we go into this massage place, and there's like signs everywhere that say like, we do not offer extra services. Right. And like, Lauren's like, what's that supposed to mean? I'm like, it means they probably do.
Right.
You know, because it's like, there's like signs everywhere, like on every door that you go in. I'm like, they probably say that because somebody comes in and it's a way to bring it up without being a pervert. You're like, oh, what do you mean you don't offer extra services?
Yeah.
And they're like, well, actually, you know.
Yeah. You know, I'm super lucky. I have somehow hypnotized my wife to think that I'm still attractive, and we're actually doing pretty good there. She over this last summer, she was like, I turned 50 in the fall. I don't want to be old yet.
Yeah.
And she kind of cranked everything up to 11, and her and I have been kicking it. We've been having a good time lately.
That's great, man. I think you're a good looking guy. You know, it's just because, you know, you're a big boy doesn't mean that you don't look good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that's something that you should be proud of. Like, hey, at least I got this going on.
I've always said I look good for a big guy.
Yeah, you do. I always say that you carry your weight so well. Like if somebody asked me, you know, how much Russell weigh, I'd probably be like, 350, 400. I can't imagine. It's hard for me to remember
that. You know, Ben knees over toes. Ben Patrick. Yeah. I guess helped him do that little teardrop band assisted thing.
Yeah.
And I guess when he would refer to me later, he'd be like, "Oh, that big guy, that guy, you know, the 300-pound guy." he was being generous.
Wow, 300 pounds. Yeah, Russell's like 300. You're like 470.
That's what Mark said. Does it? Yeah, 300.
It's
sure.
kind of cool though to be able to carry your weight well. I mean, it's better than not.
There's,
right?
I mean, I follow a few guys on Instagram.
Russell, I have friends of mine.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is gonna sound crazy. I have friends of mine in the fitness industry that come in here sometimes, and they just look bloated and sick and overweight. You know, they don't look good. You don't have that going on, and that's what I give you credit for. Like you don't have diabetes. That's kind of fucking amazing.
Cholesterol is pretty
That's
good.
huge, man.
Yeah,
like so, for whatever reason, I feel like, and that's why I feel like you have it in you. You're not all sick and fucking dying, so you have it in you to fix all this. You know, we just have to do it. And I'm with you 100%, dude.
I know you are, man.
Like I'm with you like 1,000%.
I know
I'm
you
trying
are.
to put you on drugs to help you, but this is the way that sometimes we have to, the routes that we have to go, and we'll see if it works. And if it works, guess what? We're gonna help millions of people. People start following it and going like,
Right. You know,
oh shit.
I mean,
So we have to document it when we do it.
God bless anyone that's had to do this to make it. I'm trying to find an intervention level less invasive than literally getting my intestines rearranged and stapled inside.
In all honesty, like look, that's the next step, right? Like I feel like that you'd be healthier. Like as bad as it sounds, and as much as I'm against those kind of surgeries, I still think you'd be healthier.
I mean, it's been something I've considered for a decade.
Yeah, you'd lose like okay, great, he did it and he dropped 100 pounds. Are you strong enough to keep it up after you do it?
Which a third of the people don't. A third of the people don't.
Eric, our dude, Eric, what is it, Rosenstein or something?
Something like that.
Eric, man, I saw him the other day. He's all jacked. He's
Looking
powerlifting.
Great.
He's powerlifting. He looks awesome. He's pretty damn strong, and he's kept it off for a couple of years now. His wife has kept it off. Like I saw him at the powerlifting meet. I don't know why he doesn't come in here anymore. I think he got into like geared powerlifting. I'm gonna hit him up though and tell him to come back because I like talking to him. I like having him around. Here he is, right here. I think he trains at Catharsis. I'm not trying to steal anybody from anywhere. I like him. You know, I like hanging out with him and talking to him. He's also been through like addiction issues and things like that. But look at this guy.
Fucking tank.
How much did he used to weigh? Like 400?
400,
Oh shit, that's great.
Wow. Look
Hey,
at him. And look, he's not injured. He took it.
Eric,
He took
let's use some. Can we please use some collars? Oh, he has collars on there. How much weight is that?
That was looked like 4 or 5 wheels. 6 wheels. 6 wheels and change.
He has got to be on some shit. I
mean,
it. I'm all for it, but
I'm
like,
all
man,
for it,
he
buddy.
wasn't this strong before.
No, in just a couple years, he's
Wait, is
added
this
so much strength.
315? Dude, this guy got legitimately strong.
Yeah.
Like he was. I'm telling you, and I'm not. It's not. Well, let's see if he gets this first.
Oh, I mean, he's almost 4 wheels. He's almost 4 wheels. He puts in.
He's got a bench shirt on.
He does.
He's got a bench shirt on. That's okay though. Okay, he's a guy that likes numbers. He's very proud of like benching. Like, hey, I want to bench 500 pounds eventually or something like. And so, if you need to utilize a bench shirt to get there, and you're older and you don't want to get hurt, I don't see anything wrong with it. You know, I just don't like equipped powerlifting because there's nothing to like really compare it to. But what I like about Eric, he's like kind of doing it for him.
You read my mind. He's in a me versus me situation now, and he's winning.
So what Eric does is he's able to challenge his body without getting hurt, and so that's why he competes in equipped powerlifting. But I can't say anything about it. I mean, Mark squatted 1,080 equipped. He also, like, this is ridiculous, but you'll never hear Mark tell people that he benched 854 because it just sounds ridiculous. I mean, he benched 854 pounds.
Did you see that the new world record just happened unofficial? Did you catch that?
No, what was it?
Let me show it to you.
So Mark did 854, but he never likes to say it because it sounds ridiculous.
The Iranian beast, maybe?
So he just did, it's not the Iranian Hulk, is it?
Maybe.
No.
Maybe.
Look at C.T. Fletcher. He's a legend. What's the guy's name? Is this the Iranian?
Bench beast.
But this isn't the guy that wants to fight, is it? That guy's way fatter, I think. Oh, maybe it is. I didn't know this guy was that strong. I thought he was.
Here, we're gonna.
But is it the Iranian Hulk?
We're
is that
back to CT? The Iranian bench beast.
Okay, but it's not like type in Iranian Hulk in the search real quick. I just want to see.
What am I doing?
IRANIAN. One of these days.
Never.
So click on that.
I wonder if it's this guy, maybe. Different guy.
Go down.
This is the Iranian Hulk, not him.
Okay. Yep.
This is the
Okay, because that guy
Iranian
wants to
bench
fight
beast.
somebody. Yeah.
Iranian bench.
And so, how much did he do? 360.
360 kgs. That was like 800. Next attempt is 800 pounds.
Okay.
793.
Now, why is this unofficial? It's not a meat.
Not
Looks
in
like
the
a
meat.
meat. Oh, maybe like a mock meat. I mean, he's got people there. Is it just like at the gym and he's got a bunch of people around? That's all it is.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess, yeah, people are just working out in the background. Now, let's see how legit this is. 800 pounds.
Unassisted,
Raw.
right? This is raw, right?
It's
Just
raw.
a little couple of wrist guards. Look it.
Wow. Wow, with a fucking pause.
Oh!
Holy shit.
Jeez Louise.
Holy shit. Dude, like with a sick ass pause.
Hey, man.
I will
That's
be
greatness.
following you.
That's greatness right there.
Holy shit.
Yeah, that was wild.
You know, like I always see I was like waiting for it to be some shitty lift, like where he you know, like, oh, he didn't even touch his chest, or he did like, you know, there's always some cheapness. That was legit, and he even got the little struggle at the end with the right tricep. Or
This is what I was telling you yesterday. Like so a lot of this stuff I can't be on the front line of knowledge. As broad as my interests are, I just wait for the things to bubble up. And
Yeah.
and look.
And that's how you found it.
And CT Fletcher brought it up.
Yeah.
That's how I know. That's how
Following all the right people.
I'm following the people that give me. Yeah, exactly.
Well, I think that's a good way to wrap it up for today because I got to go pee too.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay.
you
I got
gotta-
to dump.
We can call it, you know, and we'll just, hey, don't sit on it.
Oh, sorry, my bad, yo.
All right, buddy. Well, I love you guys. Thanks for watching. If you're still watching and listening to us just ramble on about nothing. But you're going to get a lot of that here. Actually, there's going to be a lot of really good stuff coming up. Mark and I are going to the Arnold. Mark and I are going to go to Atlanta and work with a rapper, famous rapper. It's going to be really cool. So we'll
That's
we'll
going to
leave
be
that.
killer.
Yeah, that'll be killer. We're gonna leave that as a little surprise.
Yeah.
And there's going to be a lot of other stuff going on soon. Mark has just put out his electrolytes called Hydration. And just to keep it simple, from a Within You brand, Within You, because our mom always told everything that we needed was within us. And so if you guys are looking for some protein shakes, I think This Is the Way is great. I think his hydration packs are great. He just came out with a salted caramel one that is great, and coffee. He just came out with his fasting gum. So if you guys want to support us, that's a great way to do it by just, you know, utilizing some of the products. All of them taste good. They all work good, you know. So if you guys want to support us, that's a great way to sort of hop on board for now. And of course, all the Slingshot products. That's what keeps this place going. Love you guys. We'll talk soon.
Bye. Bye.
Boom.